Today we talk about cryptocurrency named TRON, how it managed to go from being just a coin on Ethereum blockchain to being in top 10 cryptocurrencies in terms of market cap value in less than 8 years of existing. That and everything else will be clear if you watch until the end of this video. And as every video on Bitcoin Academy, this one is also 100% beginner friendly. Without wasting time, let's dive in. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is TRON, and why did it even need to exist in the first place? TRON is a blockchain built for speed, affordability, and accessibility. It was designed to help people share digital content, make payments, and build decentralized apps, dApps, without dealing with the high fees and congestion often found on Ethereum. Instead of focusing on expensive NFTs or speculative projects, TRON aimed to be a practical, everyday blockchain, a platform where users in developing countries, creators, and builders could interact quickly and at almost no cost. Whether someone wants to send stablecoins across borders or stream digital content with instant microtransactions, TRON was built with that kind of frictionless experience in mind. While many blockchains talk about freedom or decentralization in vague terms, TRON's approach has always been simple. Give users a way to move value easily, without permission or middlemen, especially where traditional systems fail. This emphasis on usability over flashiness made it one of the most used networks for payments and transfers globally. While it might not get the same attention as Ethereum or Solana in the media, TRON is quietly powering billions in transactions, especially in parts of the world where speed, cost, and accessibility are non-negotiable. From day one, TRON's purpose was clear: take blockchain technology out of the hands of a few and make it practical for the many. That vision remains central to its growth story today. Now that we understand what TRON is, let's talk about the man behind it, Justin Sun, a polarizing figure in the crypto world. Born in China and educated in both China and the US, Justin rose to prominence in his 20s as a flashy, high-energy entrepreneur with a talent for promotion. Before TRON, he had already worked on blockchain projects and was known for his ties to Ripple. But it was TRON that made him a global name, not just for the technology, but for the bold moves and media stunts that came with it. In 2019, he famously bid $4.5 million for a charity lunch with Warren Buffett, only to cancel it under mysterious circumstances, fueling rumors and headlines. Justin is known for making big announcements and moving fast, sometimes too fast for the crypto establishment's comfort. Critics say he overhypes TRON and keeps too tight a grip on its direction. Supporters argue that without him, TRON wouldn't be where it is today, one of the top 10 crypto assets by market cap with a robust global user base. Whether you see him as a marketing genius or a self-promoter, one thing is clear: Justin Sun played a massive role in getting TRON off the ground and keeping it relevant in an ultra-competitive space. His presence, for better or worse, is deeply tied to TRON's brand and progress. But before TRON became a global blockchain for payments and smart contracts, it had a very different mission. When TRON launched in 2017, its mission was to decentralize the internet, not just in theory, but in practice. The main focus? Content creation and distribution. Imagine YouTube, Netflix, or Spotify. But instead of being controlled by centralized corporations that take large cuts of ad revenue or subscriptions, TRON aimed to create a system where creators got paid directly by their audience using crypto. No gatekeepers, no censorship, and no intermediaries. This idea attracted a wave of early adopters, especially in Asia, where platforms like YouTube often face restrictions or monetization issues. TRON's white paper talked about building a global entertainment system powered by blockchain, allowing users to upload, distribute, and consume digital content without needing a middleman to validate or monetize it. It was a bold goal, and while TRON has shifted focus more toward financial infrastructure in recent years, this original vision still echoes in its technology. The TRON Virtual Machine, TVM, was created to allow developers to build apps that could support this kind of peer-to-peer interaction, and the TRX token would be the core fuel for all of it. In the long run, TRON hoped to make content more accessible and creators more empowered, removing friction and bias from the process. Even today, some of TRON's ecosystem projects are still aligned with that media-first ethos, though the majority of its success has come from payment systems and stablecoin infrastructure. All right, time to get a bit more technical. Let's break down how TRON actually works under the hood and why it's so fast. Under the hood, TRON is powered by a system called Delegated Proof of Stake, or DPoS. This means, unlike Bitcoin, where anyone with enough computing power can mine blocks, Tron users vote for a group of 27 super representatives who are in charge of validating transactions and securing the network. This approach makes Tron incredibly fast. Blocks are confirmed every few seconds, and also energy efficient compared to proof-of-work blockchains. The voting process is done using TRX, the native token. Anyone who holds TRX can freeze their tokens to gain voting power and support their preferred representatives, creating a feedback loop between users and network stability. Once selected, super representatives earn rewards for their work and often share a portion with the voters who backed them. This governance model has allowed Tron to scale up quickly while still involving the community. On a technical level, Tron also includes its own smart contract platform called the Tron Virtual Machine, TVM, which is compatible with Ethereum's Solidity language. This means developers can port over apps from Ethereum with minimal changes. Tron's consensus model also ensures extremely low transaction costs, which makes it ideal for sending stablecoins and building lightweight dApps. The system is constantly running, handling thousands of transactions per second without relying on expensive or complicated off-chain solutions. So in simple terms, Tron works like a high-speed, low-cost, community-run highway for digital value and applications, one that prioritizes performance over decentralization dogma. You're probably wondering how Tron achieves such high speeds with virtually no fees. Well, that's exactly what we'll cover next. Tron's performance is one of its biggest advantages. The network can handle over 2,000 transactions per second, compared to Ethereum's average of around 15 before scaling upgrades. This speed is achieved because of its Delegated Proof of Stake consensus, where only a small number of trusted validators, super representatives, produce blocks. This reduces congestion, speeds up confirmations, and dramatically cuts down processing costs. On Tron, sending tokens, including stablecoins like USDT, costs a fraction of a cent, often less than $0.001. That's almost free, which is why Tron is often the platform of choice for crypto users in emerging markets. For people in countries like Nigeria, Venezuela, or the Philippines, where traditional banking is expensive or unreliable, the ability to send money instantly and for free is a game changer. While many other blockchains are still experimenting with Layer 2 solutions or gas optimizations, Tron just works. Its speed and low cost make it especially useful for stablecoin transfers, day-to-day payments, and high-frequency interactions. Of course, this efficiency comes at a trade-off: decentralization. With only 27 validators controlling the network at any time, some critics argue that Tron resembles more of a centralized payment network than a truly open blockchain. Still, for the average user, especially someone focused on getting value from A to B, the practicality often outweighs the philosophy. Tron's ability to process billions in transfers every day without slowing down is what's kept it relevant long after the initial hype faded. Now that we've seen how the network runs, let's zoom in on the fuel that powers it all. TRX, the native token of the Tron ecosystem. Whether you're making a simple transaction, voting for a validator, or interacting with a smart contract, you'll need TRX to get it done. When users send tokens, including stablecoins like USDT, they often need to lock up or burn a tiny amount of TRX for network bandwidth or energy, two resources that power Tron's fee system. But beyond that, TRX plays a much larger role. Users can stake TRX to gain voting rights and participate in network governance. By staking, they support super representatives, validators, who in turn distribute staking rewards back to participants. This creates a basic form of passive income and incentivizes user engagement. TRX is also used across Tron-based DeFi platforms for lending, liquidity mining, and token swaps, as well as within games and NFT apps. While Tron isn't as dominant in NFTs or gaming as Ethereum or Solana, it does have a growing ecosystem, and TRX is the medium of exchange within that system. TRX can also be used to collateralize other assets, lock into smart contracts, and pay transaction fees on Tron's associated services. In short, TRX acts like the operating currency of a self-contained economy. Whether you're a user sending stablecoins, a developer launching a smart contract, or a validator trying to secure the network, TRX is at the center of it all. Its role continues to expand as Tron builds more services and applications on-chain. Let's now turn to one of the biggest reasons Tron is used every single day: stablecoins, and especially Tether, USDT. Stablecoins like USDT have become the lifeblood of crypto transactions, and Tron is at the heart of it all. While many people assume Ethereum or Solana handle most stablecoin transfers, Tron quietly dominates this sector in sheer volume. In fact, more than half of all USDT transactions now occur on the Tron network. Why? Because it's dirt cheap and lightning fast. For people sending money across borders, especially in regions like Southeast Asia, Latin America, or Africa, those two features matter more than anything else. On Tron, sending USDT costs just a fraction of a cent and settles in seconds. A game changer for remittances, informal commerce, or peer-to-peer savings. This makes it especially appealing in countries with expensive banking systems or high inflation, where USDT on Tron can function as a digital dollar for everyday use. You don't need a bank account, just a phone and a wallet app. This has made Tron the invisible rails for billions of dollars in monthly payments. People use it to send wages home, buy goods, and protect their money from currency crashes. While other chains chase hype or NFT trends, Tron carved out a practical daily use role with stablecoins. That's not flashy, but it's effective. So we know Tron is great for moving money, but what else can you actually do on it today? While Tron started with a big dream of decentralizing entertainment, its ecosystem has since evolved toward more practical financial tools. The most active use cases today revolve around DeFi apps, stablecoin movement, and lightweight dApps. You can lend or borrow crypto, trade on decentralized exchanges, or earn yield from staking, similar to what Ethereum and BNB chain offer, but with far lower fees and faster speeds. Gaming and NFTs do exist on Tron, but they don't dominate the network. Unlike chains like Solana that lean into cultural or visual experiences, Tron's user base tends to focus more on function than flash. That means payment apps, small business tools, or utility-focused dApps get more attention than collectible monkey pictures or speculative metaverse plots. Tron also supports token creation, so projects can launch their own assets, whether they're stablecoins, reward tokens, or anything else. And for developers, building on Tron is relatively simple thanks to its compatibility with basic Ethereum tools and Java-based languages. Still, the average user on Tron today isn't there to build or speculate. They're there to move money quickly, earn yield, or participate in simple DeFi tools. It's more about function than hype, and that's part of why Tron continues to quietly grow, even when it's not in the headlines. But with all this activity, there's still one big question that comes up again and again. How decentralized is Tron, really? This has been one of Tron's biggest criticisms since the beginning. While the platform claims to be decentralized, its structure tells a more nuanced story. Tron uses a delegated proof of stake system, where only 27 super representatives, elected by TRX holders, are responsible for validating transactions. In theory, this gives the community control. But in practice, critics argue that a small group of players dominate the voting process, and many believe that Justin Sun and his allies still wield significant behind-the-scenes power. Compare that to Ethereum, where thousands of independent validators are online, and the difference becomes clear. Tron's small validator set means it's faster and more efficient, but also potentially more exposed to manipulation or censorship if a few actors coordinate. Additionally, major decisions and development updates often appear top-down, with little input from a diverse open-source community. That's why some call Tron a centralized blockchain with decentralized features. And for purists, that's a red flag. But here's the thing. Most Tron users don't seem to care. For them, what matters is that the network works. It's fast, cheap, and doesn't go down. So while the decentralization debate matters from a technical or philosophical standpoint, the average user just wants stable performance. Still, it's a valid concern, especially if Tron wants to win trust in more regulated or institutional environments. Let's wrap up the big picture by comparing Tron with the network it's most often measured against, Ethereum. While Ethereum is the original smart contract platform and remains the most trusted by developers and institutions, it's also more expensive, slower, and heavily congested during peak times. Tron, in contrast, is optimized for speed and affordability, which makes it highly appealing for users who prioritize transaction efficiency over ecosystem depth. Ethereum has a broader developer community, thousands of dApps, and innovations like Layer 2 rollups and zero-knowledge proofs. Tron doesn't compete in those areas. Instead, it's built a lean, fast ecosystem focused on a narrower use case, namely payments and token transfers, especially stablecoins. It's often described as the highway to Ethereum's smart city. Ethereum provides more freedom and flexibility, but Tron delivers consistency and utility at lower cost. One platform is slower but rich in innovation. The other is faster but more limited in scope. So if you're a developer looking to build something complex and unique, Ethereum is probably your go-to. But if you just want a cheap, reliable way to send digital money or build a lightweight DeFi app, Tron might be the better choice. In this sense, the two chains don't cancel each other out. They serve different purposes for different users. But when it comes to daily usage volume, especially in stablecoins, Tron has found a lane that even Ethereum hasn't dominated. That's a major reason Tron continues to stay relevant despite its critics. Now, to close things out, it's important to examine the biggest concerns and weaknesses facing Tron today. The most glaring issue is the perception of centralization, not just among validators, but in governance and branding. Justin Sun's heavy influence on Tron's direction has been both a strength and a liability. While his marketing and funding have kept the project alive and visible, critics argue that too much control lies in the hands of one person and a small circle of developers. There's also the matter of innovation. Tron has built out a functional network, but it doesn't lead the crypto space in new ideas or technology. There are relatively few standout dApps, and many of the top protocols are clones or forks of Ethereum-based platforms. While it excels in moving money, it doesn't inspire the same level of developer excitement as chains like Ethereum, Solana, or Avalanche. Another risk is regulatory scrutiny. Tron's heavy use for stablecoin transfers, especially USDT, has raised eyebrows among regulators, particularly in countries cracking down on unauthorized money movement. If regulations tighten, Tron's dominance in this area could be challenged. Finally, there's a branding problem. Outside of Asia, many in the crypto world see Tron as a second-tier project, regardless of how well it performs technically. That stigma may limit its potential, especially with Western developers and institutions. Still, Tron remains one of the most used blockchains by transaction volume, a reminder that in crypto, usability often beats reputation. And you made it to the very end of today's video. Let me congratulate you and encourage you to continue educating yourself about cryptocurrencies. Believe me when I say that is the only way to make success and keep your funds safe. If you agree, you might want to watch one of these two videos you see on the screen right now. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Best of luck, and see you in my next video.